back to the channel. So we're gonna start picking some corn this morning. We've been out of commission for a couple days because it's been cold and snowy, so we haven't pushed it. When we left off picking, and I'll stick those videos in here, when we left off picking the other night, it was snowing pretty hard. You can still see there's some snow on my snouts of my corn head. So we're going to try to get at it again today and see what we can get done. I know it's going to be a short week. We got 250 acres left to go, so hopefully we can knock a good sized chunk out of that before Thanksgiving. So let's see what we can do. Let's get started. Got the combines running. It's pretty cold this morning. It's probably about 26 degrees, so everything started fairly easy. So let's see what we can get done. Well, the snow finally caught up with us. So it looks like we're going to finish out the night picking in the snow because I'm not stopping. Still running good through the combine. Combine's still doing a good job. It's fairly cold, so it's passing on through. We're going to keep going. Rows picked off, get the semis filled. This morning, corn's picking nice, combines are running good. Minimal snow on the stalk, just some on the down stuff when it picks it up, but it's cold enough that snow's not affecting anything. It's just blowing on through. The night that we picked in the snow, it was still borderline freezing, and it was starting to make a mess inside the combine. But actually it did warm up a little bit over the weekend. That thawed out, and it got cold again. So the combines were pretty clean other than just being dusty inside. I still got to get my ear corn picked. I still got to get the head put on the M3. I want to pick some corn with it yet. I know a lot of guys have been wanting some mud and stuck combines. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. It's just everywhere we've been has just been so dry that I don't know if we're going to have them conditions. But I have saved the best for last. The next two big farms are the ones that are usually notorious for the wet spots. So we'll see what happens. Them will be coming up. So this video is actually going to span a couple days. I'm not going to just do a day video. I'm going to do it a couple days. So we'll see if that happens later on in the video. So keep watching. Another thing I got to do this week when it warms up is I got to go get the surprise for the channel. I know a few of you have asked about it. I know I shared a couple weeks ago or so a video of a Caterpillar piece of equipment on my community page, a picture of it, and I asked if anybody could guess what it was. Well, we are going to go get that this week when it warms up a little bit. So we'll be making videos on that, so be looking forward to that too. So the other night when we were out here picking corn, I seen this little deer walk across. And some of you might remember from when I planted the beans over there on that side of the ditch this spring, I came across a baby deer, a little fawn, and I carried it over to the edge of the ditch and left it there because I didn't want to run it over while planting. And I walked away from it, and it went about its business, and its mom circled around and found it eventually. I seen her walking with it, so I thought, well, good, it found its mom. Well, the other night while I'm out here, I seen a little deer, and I can't help but wonder if that was the little deer that was over there. I should have marked it somehow. I don't know how I would have marked it, but it's been kind of cool to know. Well, I'm full, so I'm gonna drive back to the truck and dump because Dad's strength took a load in, so the grain cart's not running right now. I did manage to crash my 3D printer this weekend. Since it was cold out and I didn't have much to do, I was messing around in my studio room that I set up for doing live videos for YouTube and doing all my editing and stuff like that, making the Throwback Thursday videos. So all that stuff's not in the living room anymore, it's in its own room. Well, I had my 3D printer all set back up, and I found this file on one of the 3D printer websites, and it was for a Model E John Deere hit and miss engine, which you guys have seen the video of Dad and I getting my grandpa's running. I thought, how cool would it be to have a 3D printed model of a hit and miss for the shelf? So I took this file and I upsized it so it'd be really big. I started printing it, and it was like an 8.5 hour print. So I started printing it, and I got to 7 hours into the print, and the printer crashed. I don't know what happened. I went to bed for the night, and I left it go because it still had some hours to go. And this morning, Madison comes in, she wakes me up. She's like, hey, something happened to your 3D printer because it's beeping and the light's flashing inside, and she said it looks like it's all messed up. Well, I went in there, and there was this big ball of plastic in there, and the belt that slides the extruder back and forth on the axes was all laying in there, and there's a little pulley laying in the bottom and a chunk of plastic. So I don't know what happened. Everything just flew apart inside, so I gotta try to find printer parts so I can fix it, or I'm just gonna buy me a newer 3D printer because that one's already like 6 or 8 years old. So, but the hit and miss was looking really cool before it all went to hell. But I guess stuff happens. Guess I'll just have to buy me a new printer or try to find parts. Well, we got moved to our first farm that is notorious for getting stuck on. So last fall, you watched me right over there with the Gleaner on tracks, finish picking that corn off. So we're right on the edge of the wet stuff right now. So we're going to get it broke in, and then we're going to attempt to pick that. I don't think it's going to be very wet because the water's actually dried up in the ditch down here. So that tells me the water table's fairly low. I mean, we had such a dry summer that I don't see it being very wet. It might be soft, but I don't think it's going to be wet. So, because it is muck, so it's still soft. So we'll see what happens. Well, I'm afraid by cleaning the ditches, I ruined my YouTube content because this has been very dry out here. I didn't even spin a wheel anywhere. It was a little soft, but it wasn't wet. So I cleaned those ditches last winter. Well, it was probably January or February when I cleaned them. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to look back through the videos. But there are videos of cleaning them. It was about right around that time my buddy Brock's excavator got stuck and we pulled him out. But anyways, cleaning them ditches dried this out. It still needs tiled because we still have a standing water issue. It needs some surface drains. You can see that when we got our heavy rains that we did get this summer, it drowned it, or early spring, it drowned it out the corn that was out here. So we need some tile out here, we need some surface drains, but cleaning the ditches really, really helped. And it being pretty dry really helped too. So yeah, digging ditches pays. This was affected by the high water that was here at one point through the growing season. But cleaning ditches and putting tile in definitely pays. So we got to get our tile plow home and get that put behind the 9300. And that's another job for the new Caterpillar piece of equipment that we're getting. It's gonna give an extra hand with the tile plow when it needs that extra little tug on it. So that's the plan. I just got to find me a tile cart now. That's the only thing I'm short is a tile cart. I might have to build one. They're getting hard to find. Used ones anyways. New ones are just ridiculously expensive. So let's keep going and stay on our quest for a wet spot and see if we can find somewhere that we can potentially get stuck. There might still be somewhere out here that's still wet. We'll find out. Well, if we don't find any wet spots, I'm going to end up having to call the channel dirt, green, and boring. But don't worry, we'll still get the M3 out and we'll pick some corn with it. We just might not need the one on tracks, but we've seen the one on tracks, so it's time to see the M3. So we got to get that going. Well, I'm still searching for a wet spot in this field. Haven't found one yet. I thought over here to the west it would be wet, but it's still not wet. Still dry. So not much excitement in this one. But hey, we're burning it off. We're getting it picked. So that's a good thing. Some good corn out here too. Really good corn out here. Oh yeah, there's Dad right there. He's holding me up. I could pass him, but there's no room to pass. Now we're starting to climb up on the high ditch bank now. Corn gets a little shorter, but it's still got some pretty good ears on it. I'm gonna go back over here. Well, good morning everybody. So we're going to continue our quest today for a wet spot. So far I haven't found anything wet. We finished out that whole west side of that field and that's usually fairly wet over there, and that was dry as can be. So we are finding out where we need to tile definitely. And it's not from being wet underground, it's from being wet from surface water that can't run off quick enough. So we got to get the water to the ditch now. So we're keeping it dry underneath, but it's not soaking through fast enough. So that means we're gonna need some surface drains. So anyways, last night I ended up running a stick and a row unit on the Gleaner and stopped my head. So I had to end up driving up and didn't get to finish the last 6 rows along the tree line. So I gotta run back and get those this morning. And then we're gonna start on the north side of the ditch, and that's gonna be our goal today, is get that picked off. And then if things go right, we're going to try to get the combines moved home this evening. And then we're just down to some ground out by Bass Lake, and then straight over here at my Uncle Steve's. We got to get that picked off, and then corn harvest is done. But before it's over, we are going to get the M3 out in the field, I promise. So the one on tracks, we probably won't need it. We've got video of that from last year. It does have a few issues I want to fix. It's got a fuel leak on the injector pump I got to fix, and then it needs the seals in the shoe because it leaks a little corn. So if we don't run that one, I'm not going to be too upset, and I hope nobody's upset that we're not going to run it, because if we don't need it, we don't need it. And hauling it back and forth to the field is kind of an ordeal because we have to have a low boy to do it, and all the trucks are on hopper bottoms right now, so we'd have to switch trailers. But I will at least get you the M3, get you some videos of the M3. So let's get started today and see what we can get done. Well, if you remember right from last fall's videos, this was about the approximate area where I actually got the Gleaner on track stuck. And we're driving right through it. So, still needs tile though. Definitely needs some tile. So, we're going to have to make a plan up and figure out what we're going to do tiling wise. I think we're going to run some runs of 5-inch through here with some risers for surface drains and get her fixed up. The nice thing is now we know exactly where we need to put everything. So we know our trouble spots. It's just a matter of getting the plow hooked up, getting some tile, and getting her sliced in the ground. Good morning, everybody. So unfortunately we never did find any wet ground on this farm. It's all pretty much dried up from cleaning the ditches. It's just a matter of doing some tile work to finish fixing it the rest of the way. So I got behind in video last night because I had to go assist with a combine fire. While I was assisting with that, Dad finished this farm up. So now we're going to move back closer to home, and I'm going to go put the head on the M3 and pick some corn with it. So I'm going to end this video right here. We got plenty of video content for it. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Next one will be picking corn with the M3. So let's go get the head put on, and then we'll make some video.